Hey, Google, heads or tails?
It landed on heads.
Did you hear it?
Yep, landed on heads.
Dino Smores coffee it is. Welcome to After the Final Pour, brought to you by The Malting Hour. I am one of your hosts, Tony Gullick, joined always with
Brandon Winninger.
Yeah, hey man, what's up?
Not much. How you doing?
Pretty good. Feeling pretty good.
Happy almost Easter.
Yeah, man. It's the day that this comes out.
Well, that'll be happy day after Easter.
Yeah, happy day after Easter. We're doing this the day before.
Or if people catch on that we actually release these usually on a Sunday night. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, yeah. If you celebrate Easter. And when we're recording this, it's Passover. So we got Passover, right? I believe Passover's today. We got Passover, we got Easter. And if you don't celebrate anything, happy Monday.
Yeah.
Happy Monday. I hope it's a great day, and I hope we're bringing some joy to you this morning or whenever you're listening to this. Or happy Tuesday. I don't know when you're listening.
Happy day.
Anyways, thanks. Yeah, happy day. Thanks for listening. It's an After the Final Pour. Brandon and I were just talking that for me, this is definitely an After the Final Pour. Tonight, had my mother-in-law over. We had some dinner. We colored some eggs. We're not very religious in this house, but we do. My wife and I are both raised Catholic, so we do still do some traditions like coloring eggs, man. It's still fun. That's about it. That's my extent of Easter. And then I have brunch on Easter Sunday. That is the extent of what I celebrate.
I've never looked this up, and I don't know why this question just popped into my head, but like, why eggs for Easter? Is it supposed to be because they're like
spring
hatchlings? Oh yeah, I think spring.
I think it's a whole spring thing.
But then why does the bunny bring eggs?
It's fucked up. Bunnies don't lay eggs. What the?
I was talking to Benjamin. He was going to sleep, and I was like, "Hey, you got to go to bed. Like the Easter bunny's going to come." He's like, "He's going to bring 4 carrots." I'm like, "Sure, if that's what you want in your Easter basket."
Hey, man, had I known, I would have dropped off carrots today.
4 carrots in your basket.
Like the Easter bunny stopped by my house first, man. Here you go. Here's some carrots.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I made some. We made tacos. I did. I marinated some chicken thighs and did some skirt steak. While I was doing that, I had 2 beers while I was grilling, and then afterward, I had another beer, and then after that, I did some dishes. Came down here to the basement, had another beer. So I'm 4 beers in. So this is an After the Final Pour for me. This is like I did an episode, but it's also been spanned out from like 4 hours. So it's about a beer an hour.
Yeah, you inspired me to grill when you said you were grilling today. I bought corn on the cob like earlier in the week because it was at the store, and I was like, I like it.
I guess it's that time of year, man. I can't wait to get corn on the cob.
The kid loves it. So I got it, and we just never got around to cooking it. And then you said you were grilling, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to defrost some chicken. So I actually defrosted chicken thighs, and I had
were they boneless, skinless, or they bone in?
No, bone in with the skin, all of the flavor.
Oh yeah.
And then I had this, I forgot why I picked it up. I think it might have been on clearance or something at Jewel, but it was like a quarter, but it was a McCormick seasoning pack. It was like smoky ranchero or something like that. And you make a marinade, you throw in the seasoning with a little bit of oil, water, and vinegar actually. And I let it soak, marinate for a little over an hour, threw it on the grill. It was like amazing. Becca was even like, this is like some of the best chicken I've ever had.
Oh, nice.
And my original thought for that seasoning was to do it with shrimp. So I think I'm going to see if I can find that seasoning packet again. We're going to try and do shrimp tacos.
Yes.
Grill up some shrimp with that seasoning and
let me know. I'll come on over. I love me some good seafood tacos, man. I love fish tacos. That's what my mother-in-law's favorite thing they make is fish tacos.
That's Becca's go-to at Earl's is the salmon tacos.
I have yet to have that from Earl's. Earl's, we're gonna we're gonna do an episode where we pair some beer with your barbecue, and we'll let you know. We'll tag you in it. Hey, so what are we drinking tonight, man? I know we both took a couple sips and we started getting into this. What are we drinking, man?
We're drinking the coffee Dino Smores.
From Off Color. Yeah, last time we didn't have final pour. It was the barrel aged, right? Those last after the final pour. Yeah, barrel aged
Yep.
Dino S'mores. Yeah, so this is the coffee version. Again, it is in a 12-ounce can. It's an Imperial coffee marshmallow stout, 9.5% ABV. Let's see. It's got pale, Vienna, wheat, carrot 2, extra special, flaked oats. I think extra special. I don't know what grain is that. I like extra special B. Flaked oats, dark chocolate, black roasted barley, hops, nugget. The secret ingredients are marshmallow, vanilla beans, molasses, graham flavor, cocoa nibs. And
it's graham flour.
Oh, graham flour. Sorry, I'm reading this couple beers in, and underneath a very low light. Graham flour, cocoa nibs, and an extra fancy wash process. What is that? Guatemalan coffee grown by how do you pronounce that?
I'm saying Finca.
Yeah, Finea San Jeronimo Miramar. Man, I suck. And that's dark matter coffee.
What I don't know if we've talked about this before, but we have talked about how you get the graham cracker flavor into beer.
Yeah.
What the fuck is graham flour?
Oh no, baby, we're gonna look it up.
Is it literally? I'm wondering if it's actually just ground up graham crackers that they're calling graham flour.
Well, here we go. You guys are gonna hear me type for a second. Hold on.
Beep, boop, boop, beep,
Graham flour. What is it? Oh, graham flour is a type of coarse ground flour of whole wheat named after Sylvester Graham. It's similar to conventional whole wheat. Is that the same thing? A report, 19 bread made from graham flour had a protein content of 12.1%, slightly less than white wheat flour, essentially the same as whole wheat flour. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know if that's it. Could be
I can't
it.
see how that, but I like just the way it's described. I don't see why it would be used. It doesn't make sense why it would be used because there's nothing. Or maybe Google graham flour in beer.
Graham flour adds a nutty, toasted, sweet flavor to baked goods along with a hearty texture. The flavor is likely most familiar in graham crackers. That is graham flour. So I guess that's where it comes from, man. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, well, now we answered that. I'm glad we looked that up before we started talking on this episode.
Well,
whoops.
It's all fact finding. We're taking people through the process of how we figure this shit out.
How do we figure everything out? We Google it. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on this so far?
I like it. So here's my question. Is yours cold?
Yes, mine is cold.
I took mine out of the cellar.
Yeah. So what do you, how, what are your, excuse me, everybody, I'm breathing and clearing my throat so much in the mic.
I'm getting a lot of, it's very coffee forward.
Yes.
And I think that's what they're going for. I'm getting that subtle sweetness, probably from the marshmallow. I would have to attribute it some of this nuttiness that I'm kind of getting, probably from the graham flour. And I guess aroma wise, it smells. I don't notice the coffee that much in the aroma. I'm getting more of chocolate. I'm getting more of a sweetness, some malt body. But there's coffee beers that I'll have, and there's a hint of coffee, but it's not overwhelming for me. So the flavor profile being heavy coffee for me it was shocking because I'm like, it didn't smell that heavy coffee forward. So.
Yeah, I don't get. I've said this before. Sorry if you guys hear a dog barking. It's Jeff's dog.
Damn it, Jeff.
So I remember having coffee Dino S'mores in the past, and what I get from this is the aroma. All right, Brady, you just stop barking. I don't know if it's coming through, but it's definitely coming through. If you guys can hear, it's a goddamn dog. So, what I get, the aroma is like there are certain stouts where I say there's like this tinny aluminum metal type of aroma, and I get that from certain stouts. I think that comes from certain grains. I'm wondering if it's chocolate. I don't get it from the stout that we make. I don't get it from the stouts, other sweet stouts, but straight up stout, like an imperial stout like this, I do get it from. I think I get that from Half Acre stouts as well. I don't know what it is. I don't particularly care for the aroma. Personally, flavor wise, it is, I kind of get the same thing, but then there's this blanket of coffee that comes over it and this dark chocolate. I'm missing the marshmallow, I'm missing the graham cracker, and I'm missing vanilla. So I'm just kind of getting this kind of bitter coffee, bitter chocolate type of beer, which I don't know. I had to take another sip. Yeah, I don't really care for it too much. I don't hate it.
Yeah.
But the regular Dino S'mores and the barrel aged Dino S'mores to me are just really, really good. Like even the regular Dino S'mores, I get a little bit of that astringent kind of roasty, burnt, almost like this. My brain says metallic.
I know what you're talking about though.
Yeah, like if anybody else like can relate to that, I'm sure there are, but I know other people can probably have a better way of maybe nailing down where that flavor comes from. It's just like in regular Dino S'mores, I get it, but I get more vanilla and marshmallow in there. The coffee for me in this, and I love coffee beers. I know Clark is not a huge fan of coffee beers. But the coffee kind of like almost acts like when you're baking and you use vanilla, and vanilla like makes everything else pop in what you're baking. You know, like you add vanilla to bring out all the other flavors. The coffee is doing the same thing, but almost the opposite way for me, where it's almost making that astringent, bitter, almost metallic type flavor pop even more for me. And I wish that I wish the coffee maybe didn't do that and was just a little bit more coffee in there to kind of help me mask what it is I don't like about this.
I think the coffee, I feel like I get this out of a lot of coffee beers, that tinniness that you're talking about that seems to be kind of a little bit more enhanced through here. I think that definitely is the coffee. And I feel like the coffee might be doing that on the aroma as well. Cause like I said, I'm not getting that much on the aroma. The what I am getting, as soon as you said like the tinny, the metal, like it's an off bitterness that I kind of smell. And I feel like, you know, that's partly from the coffee and partly, you know, probably from the green bill too. But I'm with you with like, I said there's some sweetness and I'm attributing that to marshmallow, but I'm not
Sure.
tasting marshmallow. I'm just tasting a little hint of sweetness. And there's that dark chocolate, and I'm, you know, with coffee, and then when you're getting dark chocolate notes, that's just a lot of bitterness to like having a beer. Do I hate this beer? God, no.
I definitely don't hate it. Like if you know, if I'm not gonna not drink it. Like
No.
if when it comes out, I'll keep trying. Not now, obviously. I'm gonna keep drinking it. But I'm each year I think I have it every year, and I don't know. It's just not. It's not my favorite version of the Dino S'mores.
Agreed. I mean, just because the affinity for barrel aged beers, I would put the barrel aged version first, regular second, and this one obviously third.
Yeah, I'm with you on there as well.
And I would never turn any of these. I would never turn this down.
Absolutely not. I would actually. I'd like to have this on tap and not in a can.
And you know what's one thing that I did kind of notice, and this is, you know, just kind of racking my brain back to when we had the barrel aged version. And it's probably definitely attributed to the body, But what I'm missing in here, when you're going to be a s'more stout, I don't want a super, super thick pastry stout, but I want it to have a little more body than this does.
Yeah, I
Because-
think that's what I'm kind of missing from this is as well. This comes off as just a coffee stout to me. And that's
Yeah.
not, I mean, it's not a bad thing. I think a lot of people out there.
It's an okay coffee stout.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of people love this variant, especially people who like coffee beers. And I do
They
like
have to. They
coffee
keep
beers
making it.
a
So.
lot. Yeah. It's a great variant. I mean, it's a good variant. And just being honest, it's just not one that I particularly care for. Not a bad beer, just not for me.
Yeah, I honestly, and I think because if I remember correctly, regular Dino Smores and the barrel age version have a bit more body. And I feel like we're losing that because they're blending it with coffee.
That could be the reason. And I don't know how the can says that they wash process Guatemalan coffee grown. So yeah, I don't know what that means. Did they steep?
It's just, they're just talking about the
actual coffee itself.
Yeah, that I don't know.
Not sure.
Wash process. I don't know, but I have a feeling that it's the finished product is blended with this. So
I would think that our best way to get the answer would be if we had off color on an episode so we can talk about this. And here we have nobody is here. That would be a great though, like segue into someone from off color being on this episode. Especially after I'm
gonna reach
out
out
for this beer.
I'm gonna reach out to my contact again and be like,
yeah,
do you just want to be on you're the office manager?
Sure.
Or the tap room manager or something?
You're something.
Come on. I don't know her official title, but
just come on.
Well, funnily enough,
by the way, anytime you're not the only person who uses it. Is funnily a word? Is that a real word? Fun. I think it's funny enough. I could be wrong. I'm not saying that to call you out because you're not the only person. I think Clark has used it before, and I never thought. I'm not sure if funnily is a word. Is it? Holy shit! Funnily, in a strange and amusing way, you talk funnily. It just sounds so weird. All right, well, shame on me for questioning you, Brandon. I'm a piece of shit, and I apologize.
I was looking up. Kind of going for my day job, I was looking up like office spaces or co-working spaces just to get out of the house and go and like do stuff.
You can come to my house and work with Laura.
I didn't realize Rachel Beer Goggles. She goes to Guild Row all the time. It's basically a co-working space.
Nice.
It's where she had her pints and pies and all that.
Oh, right.
So I was like, and they have day passes. So I think I'm going to get a day. They have a bar in there and they have a cafe and they serve food.
It's all adding up. So
I'm like,
Beer Goggles. Rachel has.
Now we know what she goes.
Yeah. Now we know what she.
So they do monthly memberships, but then they also do like day passes. So I might get a day pass and go there and check it out. It is right near Off Color. So maybe for my lunch break, I could walk over to Off Color and be like, hey,
hop on over to the Mousetrap, baby.
Here's my business card.
Yeah, we've got business cards now, guys. Just so you know,
we've evolved.
We're kind of a big deal. Well, two of us business cards. Those other guys, Dan and Clark, you guys, you'll get cards at some point, probably
greeting cards.
Yeah, you'll get
from your loved ones.
Not from us. We don't greet at all. That's a lie. We're sending out Christmas cards all the time. Yeah. So overall, I would say that I agree with you. Having a love of barrel aged beers is just kind of, it sucks because I really do feel like that knocks out the other versions for me. You know what I mean? Like, I just really enjoy the barrel aged version so much more.
Oh yeah,
that would be number one for me. And regular is also very good. I look forward to it every year. See, I now that I'm going back, there was one year, I don't know, it was my birthday. Maybe it was my birthday right before the pandemic in 2019. You bought me, I think, a 4-pack of when they did 16-ounce cans of this. And I remember knocking them back and enjoying them. So maybe it's just my taste has changed. Like I said, I don't hate this. It's just not for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And my thing is, like, I'm back and forth with coffee stouts in general. And I think a lot of it actually has to do with the coffee that's put in there. Like, I have to really enjoy that coffee for, something to make sense. So like when Clint does a beer with, percolator and they use some kind of blend, like percolator's got good. good coffee, and Clint makes good beer, so that just makes sense. I mean, I'm not knocking Dark Matter, but it's whatever the coffee was that they used, because even going back to Bourbon County, like coffee, like the regular coffees, I didn't like all of them every year. And I found some of those to be watery. Yeah, it was a barrel-aged beer, but it was blended with coffee or however they did it. And it just, none of those always, few of those knocked me out of the park,
Yeah. And I feel the same way. There are certain coffee beers that just kind of stand out more than others. And we had certain years going back to, I think, episode 2 or 3 of this podcast, that when we did the other Bourbon County blowout, where we literally had a bunch of different aged Bourbon Counties, there were some that people tasted green pepper and some that didn't taste it. But those coffees, I mean, that to me there was the sweetness, and then the coffee, it just kind of, I don't know. I'm trying to think of other coffee beers. Surly Bender, Coffee Bender. That's a good coffee beer. Who else does coffee? Well,
there was like the Coffee Eugene Porter.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Coffee Eugene Porter. There we go. I mean, that's so good. Does KBS have coffee in it? Yeah, KBS has coffee in it. Mm-hmm. I mean, that right there. I mean, there is that bitterness that's in there. There's chocolate and coffee in there, but still that barrel-aged sweetness. Like, I'd like to have a barrel-aged coffee Dino Smores, and I think that would help kind of balance out that bitterness I'm getting. I think it's the roasted. I think it's like the what's in here again?
Roasted barley.
I think it's or the black, because it says black, and I'm assuming it's black patent. Roasted barley and black patent, I think, are also just kind of, I mean, they bring a bitterness to the beer. And you and I, with our stout, we don't use if I'm not mistaken, I think our malts aren't as bitter, because when you roast a malt, you're going to get an astringency from it, because it's like you're cooking it, and it almost gets to the point where it's burnt. So obviously there's going to be that. And in fact, there's debittered roasted malts out there, so that you can still get that roasty flavor without the bitterness. And that's the type of, I think those beers that use that, or use the right amount, it's just kind of, I don't know, that's just my jam right there.
Agreed.
Just not into the bitterness so much. And then Nugget is just a bittering hop. So you get the bitterness from that, you get the bitterness from the malts, and then you get the bitterness from coffee. I feel like all of that just kind of
the recipe for bitterness.
Yeah. In my bitterness review of this beer. Overall, I will say, if I'm rating this out of a 5, like we've been doing lately, I'm going to give it a 3.25. And that's just because I like the barrel aged and regular so much more. It's not a bad beer. I don't think it's, I'm not going to pass on it, but I'm not also going to run out and grab a 4-pack of it right now.
Yeah, I think I would go between 3.25 and 3.5. What would have been an interesting experiment would be if we were doing these like as a side by side together, the barrel aged and the coffee, and doing a regular QV at the end.
Or even that, having all 3 of the regular coffee and barrel aged to go through it and work our way like from regular to coffee to barrel aged. And I think that might be a better approach to this. But for people who enjoy stouts that kind of have that, dark bitter, I mean, it is like it's like a dark cocoa, but not like, what was it? Oh, the Goose Island Phase 3, If I'm a Bird. Yep. Was that the one we had, If I'm a Bird?
Yeah.
Because there's the 2. If I'm a bird, then you're a bird.
I think we had the goose one.
Yeah. That one, I mean, that was like, like I said, I think it's like a baker's wet dream of a beer, of just having like dark cocoa and strawberry and cream and this richness of it, and it being, still delicious and not overly sweet. And that chocolate bitterness is just, it's so nice. There's a lot of beers out there where that, like you even said, with Percolator and Lake Effect, which, just so everybody knows, we tried doing it after the Final Four with that beer, and we had technical difficulties, and we just had to enjoy the beer instead. It's a very good beer, and that beer poured like a glass of Coca-Cola. We were very surprised how light it was. But the barrel and the coffee were very nice, and they played very nice together. They just worked very well together.
I still can't get over how like thin that was.
Yeah,
not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. I mean, I don't want to say not in a bad way. Like I'm not knocking it in any means, but when what was the ABV on it? Was it like 13 or 14%?
Yeah, it's very high. It was almost like a brown ale.
Yeah,
it was like an imperial brown ale more than like an imperial stout.
And then I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like, was that the ABV before you added the coffee? Like, and how much coffee did you add? Yeah,
exactly.
Because it was a very delicious beer, but it did not drink like something that was that high in ABV.
No, not at all. It was good, but very kind of thin. Yeah. So overall, not a bad beer, just not for me. I'm sure there's plenty of people who will disagree, and plenty of people out there who will agree on how I feel about this. But I will say this: every year, I will probably drink it again.
I think next year we should specifically plan to do all three. We'll do an episode around it.
That's a good idea. I like it. Now I feel like when we flip the coin, we should have went with tails. That's okay. We've got another one for another time now. You got anything else about this one, man?
Oh man. I mean, I appreciate them, continuing to kind of keep going with these Dino beers.
Yeah.
Because they're delicious. So
yeah, I mean, they keep making them for a reason. So, and I would be sad to see them go, and I don't think it's going to go anytime soon. So, maybe next year's will be different. Maybe each year, maybe they use different coffees each year. Maybe that's why I'm maybe just this year I don't care for the coffee that was used. So, we'll see. We'll find out next year. We'll come revisit it. We'll have Clark fact check what I said when I check it in, and we'll go from there.
Good idea. Good plan.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. All right, man. I love you.
Love you too, bud.
Bye.
This has been The Malting Hour. Be sure to follow us on all social media by searching The Malting Hour and at themaltinghour.com. You can also follow us individually on social media. Brandon can be found on Instagram as BMDub81, on Twitter, BDub81, and on Untapped as BDubDrinksBeer. Tony can be found on Instagram and Untapped under Ace of Help Chicago, on Twitter, The Ace of Help Chicago. Clark can be found as Clarkowski on all three. Dan can be found on Instagram as hip__hops and hip hops on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, like, and rate the show on your preferred podcast listening platform. Until next time, cheers from all of us at The Malting Hour.